Hello, I'm Tess, and I'm obviously quite an old Tess, and I live in the city. In my old age, I'm living in an apartment. Actually works extremely well for me because with the lack of eyesight, I haven't driven for over 20 years now. Got 2 book groups that I go to. I have to be very careful because if I get very involved in listening to a book, I'll just sit down, listen to the book, and I won't get up and move around, which is not good exercise. At this stage of my life, most of my friends have died, and those that could come in, they don't like coming into the city now. People don't particularly like coming into the city. But I think I'm finding it a benefit in many ways. There's much more for me to be able to do. And I enjoy getting out into the garden and hopefully not chopping back the wrong things that I shouldn't be chopping back. I was up at Mount Buller because I loved skiing. I remember looking out and all the eucalypts were becoming distorted. I looked out on these lovely snow gums and suddenly they were all smaller. It was the most peculiar sensation. I then was taken down and went to an ophthalmologist and that was proven to be macular degeneration. And then after that, I did have some treatment, but then I had a huge hemorrhage and that was the last of it. The sight that I had sight in my right eye, and then with this hemorrhage, I didn't retain any sight in the right eye. So the left eye, which wasn't the good eye, I've certainly got, sight there now. Hi, you must be Michelle.
Hello, Tess. I'm Michelle.
Come in.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
This is a beautiful home.
Yes, well, I've been here for a while now. Very much
lovely.
at home.
Lovely.
I'm going to take you to the kitchen. Was that right?
That sounds fabulous, Tess. Thank you.
All right, we'll go through. Thank you. Welcome into my kitchen.
Thank you.
Not a very big kitchen, so it's not very difficult for me. I keep these little things here for my tea because I'm very fond of herbal tea.
Yes.
Now here, I've labelled all these teas, so if you really want whatever tea you enjoy, you might have different flavours. Now the problem is the gas. It's just you turn that on. That's quite easy. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you've got to be very careful. Mm-hmm. You haven't left a gas jet on.
How do you make sure that you turn it off? Because these are quite small.
There's a little knob at the top. You feel that. You can feel that that's a tactile thing.
Yeah.
See that little, you know that if that's up top, you're right.
Okay, so you're using touch. Can I ask, did you deliberately get brightly coloured equipment like this so that you can see it in the pot?
Yes. And the scissors here, I've got a little red bow on the scissors.
And show me the chopping boards because you were talking about the chopping boards.
So whatever you do, if you're chopping up, you could chop an onion on that because it's the contrast.
Contrast of colour.
Yes.
And so if you were to cut up a carrot, you would do it on the blue one?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you had a tomato, it can go on the white. Or even a carrot can go on the white. It just varies, depending on what you're doing. A lot there with celery, you'd use the blue. Meat would probably go on the white, go on the white. I don't use as much meat now. That's the reason you use those.
Tess, how do you go with making sure that food is still within date?
That's a problem. I did have somebody come in at one stage and go through my pantry, and it was amazing what she threw out. What I do with my fresh produce, I put them in a container with kitchen paper and it keeps them longer and I label them.
Yep.
So I know they're the carrots in there, that's the celery in there, and it keeps longer. When you can only, say, shop every fortnight.
It's a big gap.
You need to be able to keep things and not for them to go off. But if you just throw them into your refrigerator door, they go off quite quickly.
Yeah.
But for what I do, this is my thing anyway, they don't go off. Going to a dietitian to say you don't get an audio description of things, you don't get an audio book that you can listen to and go through what is presented on a paper. I would like to think that there was a follow-up, you know, that it's not just going there and saying, oh, well, I think if you don't eat this and you do eat this and you only have one of this or two of that or whatever it's going to be, that's very simple. If you come back then in, say, 2 months or something, or 6 months, see how you're going. And if this hasn't worked, I would just like to review it, you know, see you in that time. Or how does it affect you physically? Are you feeling more tired or are you feeling more alert? I think a follow-up's very important, actually.